Alex being in with Stateside Press and with Matt Semelsberger, who returns next weekend at UFC 277. Matt, how are you?
What's up, Alex? I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy to be talking with you. I'm excited you're back in action. First and foremost, fantastic fucking beard and fantastic hair. Man, what are you going for?
Yeah, I'm going for like that Viking just warrior look, man, through and through.
I mean, it is fantastic. I know that you had long hair throughout your football career. Are you just kind of letting it go?
Yeah, man. I think I had like this idea. I've talked about it a little bit before. I want to just keep my long hair, man, until I retire from fighting. It's almost like whenever I decide to hang up the gloves, that's when I'll cut my hair. So we'll see how long it gets, man.
I mean, I love the idea. That's kind of cool, man. Well, I wanted to talk. I talked with you right after your fight because I was at your last fight against AJ Fletcher. But it's been a few months. I just want to know, now that you've had some time to kind of digest it, how did you feel about that performance?
Not bad. I mean, it was I obviously saw some positives out of it, but just my mentality on things, I always can see room for improvement. So I can't say I was satisfied completely at all. Not really even satisfied half, man. I looked at that fight and kind of let things, I guess you could say I kind of let AJ determine some things and kind of control the fight. Whereas like just my goal as a fighter, man, I want to be able to go in there and control and dominate the fight. So definitely took some positives away. You know, I was able to kind of flex some resolve after like a hard first round of being on bottom and then kind of coming back and flipping the script on him. So there was definitely some positives to take away, but definitely a bunch of negatives that I needed to address before the next one.
What was like the biggest thing you learned from that fight?
Biggest thing I learned from the Fletcher fight, I guess is like I need to like and I've been working on this too, is to like mesh all my arts together a lot more. So it's like obviously it's mixed martial arts and that's the name for a reason. So, you know, I've always trained very hard on all my specific arts and skills, but really have just been kind of taking it upon myself and with my coaches to like mesh everything together a lot more and just do that like from a drilling perspective and then also in like sparring trying to mesh everything together a lot more. So I think that was probably the big takeaway from the AJ fight was, you know, we did well, but we didn't do so good about meshing everything together, which I think is where you see a lot of the beauty in MMA.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha, man. Thank you for sharing that. So 1 month from now, is going to be your 2 year anniversary inside the UFC. And I just wanted to know, I guess, well, your 2 year anniversary from your UFC debut, I should say. Is there anything you can share from your UFC debut? Like, what were the nerves like? Like, was there any adversity that you faced coming into your debut?
A little bit, man. I think it was more of just like dealing with the pressure because like I didn't exactly like I always felt like I belonged in the UFC and I was willing to like, you know, prove that I belong there. But like for relative to a lot of people, like I had gotten signed pretty early. I was only 6-2 when I got signed. So it was honestly kind of a shock to me in a way because, you know, I was at least expecting like maybe a contender series opportunity or something like that. But luckily, you know, like my opportunity came up and they wanted to give me a shot. So I think that pressure was a big thing that I had to deal with. But honestly, man, I was built for that. I'm built for dealing with pressure and overcoming pressure in a lot of different ways. So I think like at that time when I had gotten the call to the UFC, like it was like kind of during the pandemic. And like before that, I was a substitute teacher and the school shut down. So I didn't have a job. I was working at like a liquor store, like stocking shelves and stuff like that. And then like, you know, trying to train as much as I could, even though the gyms were shut down and whatnot. So I was putting in my work for sure. And then, you know, I get the call. So it was like, I think a special part about the debut was the fact that I was just like, not like down. I didn't feel like down because I didn't even want to feel like sorry for myself because I don't like doing that. I don't think that's good for you. I don't think it's healthy, but I was just like, you know, um, 6-2, um, uh, barely had like a job, if you will. I was like at a liquor store, like making minimum wage. Like I was broke. I had a lot of bills. So it's just like when I got that opportunity, it was like a bunch of pressure on my shoulders because it's like, all right, this is the opportunity you wanted, but it just kind of like hopped into my lap, and all of a sudden, so I was like, oh gosh, like that almost like added to the pressure of going in and fighting. But like I said before, man, I was built for pressure. I was built for moments like that. So that was kind of what was special about that whole thing.
And like also like kind of going off of that, do you feel like I don't know, special way where like you're not coming from a huge super gym, right? Like you got crazy 88s, and you're having a lot of success in the UFC. You don't see that. I mean, like there's like a select few where it could come from like a small gym, like a small home gym or whatever. But like a lot of fighters are at these super gyms.
Yeah, yeah, definitely, man. And it makes sense, right? It's like the equivalent of like I make a lot of analogies to football because football is just something I know a lot about. But like big Division 1 schools, like Alabama, LSU, like all these teams, like those are the guys that are getting the looks from the pros. They have all the resources. They have the other high level skill athletes that they're playing against, and who are teammates with them. And then they have like the best of the best coaches, the best of the best, gyms, resources, PT trainers, all that stuff. So it makes sense that most fighters that you see in the big leagues are coming from these big gyms, and that's cool, man. But it's also really cool because like you also see in like the NFL some of these like small school guys, or these guys that get picked up, signed to the practice squad, or they come from, maybe they went to the draft and they got a shot, you know what I mean, on special teams, and then they work their way up. So it's I kind of like to identify myself with that, kind of like that underdog, small school type of player who just like always believed in himself and was like confident that he could work his skill level up to like that tier, that NFL, that top of the top, top of the heap.
Yeah, no, that is a perfect example. Hit it right on the head, man. Yeah, and it's just cool to see your success from this small gym that's coming up, and you're killing it, man. All right, UFC 277. You're back in front of a crowd. I know you love fighting in front of a crowd. Um, Alex Morono, what did you think when you got the phone call?
Very excited, man. Very excited because I've watched Alex Morono like even before I was in the UFC, man. I've always been like a UFC fan, man. Like that was like how I got into like MMA, was watching UFC and just being a fan of it. So I knew all about Alex before I even got the fight offer. So as soon as I heard the name, I was like, yes, this is the type of challenge that I'm looking for, man. Because he's had a lot of fights in the UFC, been around for a while. He's fought like the top of the top, former champions. He's fought, the most, like Donald Cerrone fought him. He was like some of the most fights in the UFC. Like, yeah, man. I was just overall really, really excited, but also, like in a good way, like nervous too, because it's like you get a big challenge like that, you're like, that's a lot. But going back to the whole pressure thing, man, that's like I like being pressured because I know it's like an opportunity for me to grow and an opportunity for me to do something cool, special.
Yeah, man. I don't know if a lot of people know, like he's been in the UFC since 2016. Like,
Yeah.
he's been doing it for a long time. What do you think of the matchup?
I think it's a great matchup, man. I think it's very similar styles in the sense that like Alex, just from watching his fights, at least as of the late, he likes to keep it standing. He likes to engage in the striking matchup if his partner wants to keep it there. But also at the same time, the dude's a second degree black belt in jiu-jitsu and in a Gracie gym. I think I did some studying up. I think he has like a black belt in Taekwondo, so the dude can throw kicks. I've seen him throw some spinning shit out there before, so it's like very exciting, man. Very, very excited. I'm very intrigued and interested how like what their game plan is for me, because I don't know, like I I don't really I there is some consistencies that you can watch in my film and tape and stuff like that, but at the same time, man, like I don't I'm a little bit of a mystery still, and I like to keep it that way. So I think it's a really good fight, man. I think me and him are both game guys who are down to throw down, but also like on a technical basis, like we're smart fighters. So just honestly, man, it's just brewing for a really really good fight. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you look at the UFC 277 card, and your analysis fight kind of sticks out as like, oh man, like that's gonna be a fun fight. I mean, you kind of mentioned it, like he has the striking, but he also has very good grappling and jujitsu. Like, what kind of fight? I mean, kind of alluded to like you don't really know, but like if you were to bet some money on it, like, do you think you guys are gonna bang, or you think it's just gonna be like a mixed martial arts fight where everything goes?
Honestly, man, if I had to hedge my bet, I think it's going to start as a striking match, but then I think as the fight progresses, it's going to become more of a mixed martial arts fight.
Mm.
And that kind of alludes to like, at least from what I've watched on film on him, and then just knowing myself as well, and even watching film of my fights. Coming out, we like to kind of bang and strike, but then as everything plays out, as the heat rises, and that it's just like going back to like being smart. You know what I mean? If you're just trying to box, you know what I mean? You're limiting yourself to all everything that's available. So I like I said, if I think I'm gonna hedge a bet, I'm gonna say we're gonna come out, we're gonna strike and put on a show for the fans because um, fans like the striking matches, man. Obviously, that's like a pretty exciting thing for me and for others to watch is to watch two people like kind of clobber each other. But at the same time, in a more like pure sense of like MMA, I think you're gonna see some jujitsu, some wrestling, some clinching, all that good stuff.
Do you ever take into account like MMA math where like you went 3 rounds with Chaos Williams, but Chaos Williams sparked him in the first round?
No, not really, man. To be honest, it's just like MMA is one of those sports, man, where it's like you can get caught, and it's just like 100%. Like even with like my fight with Chaos, man, like um I didn't take a lot of risks in that fight. I mean, granted, I did, land a decent little bit, and I did some good things in that fight. But you look at like Alex's fight with him, like Alex was like 100% there to bang with Chaos, and he just got caught. So I don't buy into the MMA stuff too much, man. Especially given to the fact that Morono has so much experience, and he's been training for so long. So it's like one of those things, man. I try to keep as humble as I can.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. At the end of the day, next weekend, you have 277. How did you get your hand raised?
Ideally and confidently, I can say by knockout. I mean, that's what I like to do, man. I like to put my hands on people. But I will say, I come from Crazy 88 is a very, very well known for their jujitsu program, and we have lots and lots of successful jujitsu competitors at Crazy 88. So I think it would be amazing to get an opportunity to land a submission down. So I'm not going to shy away from hunting submissions because my grappling is actually pretty good, man. And actually, in the grand scheme of my training time, man, I have more grappling experience than I do striking experience.
Did
Even from like a football perspective, man. Like I used to in college line up against like these big ass 300-pound linemen, and I'd be like literally basically clinch fighting with them, trying to get past them to like get to the quarterback and stuff. So um, I would like to get a submission, man. I think I only have one submission victory, and that was like my second pro fight, and it was like some lucky ass heel hook that I got. Like before I even knew how to do heel hooks. I think I was going with this black belt like a few weeks earlier, and he had heel hooked me like 3 or 4 times. And I think it was just maybe off jogging my memory where I was like, oh yeah, I remember I got heel hooked the other week like this. Let me try it. And then I got the guy with it. So it'd be cool to get a submission victory, man. But I think I'll open it up either from the striking and maybe hurting him from there. Um, but yeah, man, I think either way, whether it goes to the judge's decision or I get it finished, I'm confident I'm going to come out of that cage with the victory.
awesome. And then finally, just a couple last things, man. You want one more this year? You got 3 fights last year. You want to keep it going, or are you kind of focusing on Alex and kind of taking it one day at a time?
Yeah, man. I mean, I put some thought into it, but at the same time, like I think it's good to stay in the moment, live in the moment. So like I'm fully focused on Alex and fully focused on next weekend. But I can't lie and say I haven't, looked to the future a little bit and tried to try to like bowl through some things. So I would like to get one more in before the end of the year, if I can, maybe in November. This is like so my birthday is in November. I think it'd be pretty cool to fight near my birthday and then make a big celebration out of it. So, but we'll see, man. I I could uh God forbid I could die, man. Like I could die, I could pass away, and I wouldn't even get to fight again. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I'm just gonna keep living life and trying to have fun and just take all this in, man. It's been a wild, awesome ride, and I've been doing all this with like my teammates and my coaches, Coach John and Coach Sebastian and my big brother Mike. Like it's like the dream team, man. Whenever we go out for fights, it's just like a very like spiritual, special time for me, man.
That's awesome to hear, man. Football season right around the corner. You excited?
Oh, very excited, man. Very excited. Even though Washington football has just always been a letdown. I'm hoping maybe they can do something, man. They've always got like some talent around, but they just never really seem to be able to bring it together. But I'm not gonna talk crap on them, man. They have potential, so I'm hoping they capitalize on it.
As a Steeler fan, I am expecting a horrible season, so I'm already starting to get depressed thinking about it.
Dude, I forget. Like I don't pay as much attention to football now. Is Big Ben still with them?
He retired last year.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember hearing some things and watching some things on the Steelers last year. Like Big Ben was basically just like,
it was bad.
yeah, we know we're not going to make it to the playoffs. We know we're not going to do this.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was bad, and we have Mitch Trubisky coming in to be our quarterback, which it's gonna be a bad year.
He
And then
came
I
from
find
Chicago, right?
yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, bro, he's ass. And I'm sad about it. I'm sad about it. I did want to ask you about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Did you did
Ooh,
you did you finish that show,
yes, I did, and I loved
bro?
it, man. It was so good.
Oh, talk to me about it, bro. It was so good.
Oh, dude, it was great. Well, it's like I've been buying some Star Wars comics over the last year or whatever, and it was cool because some of the like Obi-Wan like kind of went into like I can't remember, he's just kind of like a self-exile kind of thing. And in one of the comics I was reading, it was basically some of the stuff that played out in the actual Obi-Wan series was some of the stuff I had read in the comics. So I was like, oh, this is cool because I already kind of like I gotten a little bit of a taste of like what he was going through. But dude, it was great. I loved it. I loved that, like the development from him being exiled and not wanting to deal with any of the Jedi stuff anymore. But then it's like, his destiny calling him to rise up and be a hero again, man. It was great. I loved it.
I loved how brutal and how violent Darth Vader was. It just kind of showed just how like this dude. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, and how powerful, dude. It's crazy. Like the when they're trying to escape out, I forget where they were, but like they put up the like distraction freaking ship, and he just like force pulled it down. I was like, and just ripped the whole thing up, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's so good. It's just so good. It shows how powerful it is. I did want to ask, you're a Marvel fan, right?
Yeah, yeah, I like Marvel.
Have you watched any of the newer movies like Thor or Doctor Strange, or you been too busy in camp?
Honestly, I've been pretty busy in camp, but so I haven't watched the new Thor, the Love and Thunder one, if
Mhm.
that's what you're talking
Yeah.
about. I haven't seen that yet. I might go see that with my little brother or something like that soon. I started watching the new Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness one. I got like halfway through it, and then I think I like fell asleep because it was like late after training one night, and I have this weird thing, man. Sometimes when I start a movie and get halfway through it, and then like for whatever reason I stop it, it's like hard for me to get back to it. So I have to like wait like a month or so until it's like the memories are out. I'm like, okay, I can start this fresh
I
now.
mean, that's a fantastic idea. I mean, really.
Yeah, yeah. But I have been watching a decent amount of um just stuff to get me hyped for like the fight, stuff like that. So like I read a lot of Marvel comics, probably more than I actually watch stuff.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, so I've been reading that. I've been reading some mangas and like some like there's this one that I've been reading called like Blade of the Immortal. It's like this like set in like the Edo period with the samurais and stuff like that. And it's like this dude who he's like immortal and he can't die because he has like these weird like mystic bloodworm things in him, and they like heal up all of his injuries. And he's like helping this girl like get revenge on like this clan of samurai that are going around and trying to like take out all these other clans of samurai. So it's cool, man. I've been just kind of like reading a bunch of comics, and then also, you ever watch Cosmos with Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yes, yes.
Dude, I've been watching the latest season that they put out, the Possible Worlds one, man. I'm a huge space nerd, so I love hearing about space. And then they actually did like a decent amount of episodes on like not so much space stuff, but like I learned that like bees can speak in like their own little mathematical like language, little like dance that they do to like tell other bees where there's like honey and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Dude, that's wild. I'm gonna have to catch up on this because you're just
Oh,
like
dude, it's wild.
that just blew my mind.
Yeah,
That's
man. And some
awesome.
scientists figure that out. He's like studying bees. He's like, he just figured out that these things know how to like do this. I don't know, man. It's just I love learning about nature and stuff like that, and like exploring the whole like levels of consciousness and wherever you can see it, whether it's in animals or in humans and stuff like that, man. So it kind of makes me feel, puts me at ease in a way.
Hmm.
Learning about that stuff. I don't know. It's just yeah, it's fun to watch.
I love it, man. Thanks for sharing that, man. Matt, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it, dude. You want to plug your social media, plug any sponsors you got? You want to thank anybody? The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. So social media is Semi the Jedi. I got Instagram and Twitter, so it's the same handle. And then so I just want to thank like my teammates and my team at Crazy 88, Coach John Del Bruges, Coach Sebastian, Coach Southside, Coach Sergio, and then Master Julius, and like countless other all my teammates, man. There's so many of them that are in a very similar position to where I was, where they're just on the come up, man. We're a smaller gym, but we're full of just extremely intelligent but extremely savage individuals, man, that just want to have their opportunities. So I'm hoping that they get their opportunities as they kind of rise up the ranks and whatnot, like I did. So thank you to the team. And then I don't really have any sponsors right now, mainly because I just haven't really sought out them that much, too much. But after this fight, hopefully, maybe I'll get something linked up. But I will say I had this Maryland-based clothing company. They're called One Collective Goods. I just posted some stuff on my Twitter and Instagram on them. They hooked me up with a bunch of cool stuff. So Maryland-based, so they're taking care of a fellow Marylander. So shout out to One Collective Goods for also hooking it up.